I'm on Notre Dame Street in Pointe-aux-Trembles, and just along the water you will find, it's tough to miss, the tallest windmill in the province. I have to admit, I kind of have a thing for windmills. They're full of history, they're majestic, but I've never visited this one before. So come on, let's go explore. Well, we can't go inside. There's some work going on indoors, but the exterior has been restored beautifully. It was built in 1719. It is the oldest building in Pointe-aux-Trembles. Now, there are about a handful of windmills on the island of Montreal, 17 in total across the province. But 300 years ago, there would have been about 240. This is actually the second mill built in Pointe-aux-Trembles. The first was in the old village next to the river, but too susceptible to ice damage every spring. After some 40 years, it was abandoned and rebuilt here. Believe it or not, just 17 years ago, a good part of the view of this old mill was obscured by, of all things, a funeral parlor. So tell me, what is the story behind the funeral parlor beside the windmill?
Well, the windmill stopped operating in 1866, but after that, the lot on which it was located became a private lot, and it was, to a certain extent, left to itself, abandoned for so many years. At one time, in 1975, the owners of the lot here sold the lot to the Saint-Regret family that operated funeral parlors in Montreal. And they decided to build a funeral parlor on the lot. But instead of building it to a certain space from the windmill, they surrounded the windmill on two faces with the funeral parlor. So I don't know how he managed to get a permit to build that, but he did.
The mill's fortune would begin to improve in the 1980s when it was sold to Magnus Poirier, another funeral home. The Poirier family recognized the mill's heritage value and fixed up the roof and stonework. It sold the mill and the land to the city of Montreal in 2001 for $266,000. The funeral parlor was finally demolished 4 years later, and restoration began. 300 years ago, what would life have been like here?
At the time, wheat and flour were extremely important in the life of people then. Statistics say that every adult had about 1 kilo of bread a day. So it means a lot of flour. And flour didn't keep long, so they had to have their grains ground here repeatedly, maybe every week, every 2 weeks. So people came here very, very often.
Back then, the mill fed the settler community, but very much like the church, it also fed their spirits. Of course, people worked here, but a lot of people just hung out here. Of course, now all of the settlers are gone, but on weekends during the summer, you can come here and get a sense of what it was like in Nouvelle-France. Along with a dozen or so millers who would have worked here, there are artisans and blacksmiths and even musicians. Les habitants de la Nouvelle-France reenact what that would have looked like. Lucien Bédard is one of the characters you'll meet.
What we do most is make an encampment and be there for the whole weekend. So we plant tents, we live on the premises for 3 days, we sleep in the tent.
Wow.
Traditional tent, mostly soldier tent. And we eat on the premises, we cook on the premises.
The mill also served as a fortress in case of attack, and that meant most people carried a weapon like a musket.
To be in the militia, there's one thing you absolutely need.
Okay.
You have to have at least 2 teeth, one on top and one in the bottom.
So is this where the teeth come in?
Yeah, exactly. Take the top off. C'est la boue. Fire!
Oh boy. Hey, that's something. Thank you so much,
Hey, it's
Lucien.
been a
That was
pleasure.
very cool. Thank you.